I'm back. Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Simply Jane. Because it's Simply Jane. The most simplest name there can be. And welcome back if you're returning and if you're new here, please stay. Okay, so I'm back. I had to take a little long break to deal with myself and to learn and like all that other good stuff and like believe in myself, because you gotta believe in yourself to be able to do this gig. So what are we doing today? Good question, Jane. Let me tell you. This book right here is a 300 writing prompts, and I thought I'd just go through it today. I have a pencil somewhere, and I just answer these questions, and I just free flow and just talk and ramble, because that's the mood that I'm in right now. Like, I'm feeling fabulous. Like, let's go. What is something that you have learned lately? I've learned a lot. So do I gotta pick one thing? I think the most fascinating thing, it has to be ego. Like, I have been so obsessed over the concept of ego and wanting to like learn and grasp it in like the way that I can like understand it, because identifying ego and whenever I am acting ego has definitely helped me kind of like check myself and give myself like more different ways to respond to certain situations. How I've run into the topic of ego, I think I've run into it like a month or two ago back, when I was like listening to people like talk about ego deaths, and I'm like, what's an ego death? And I'm like, you can't know what an ego death is until you like learn ego. But I went backwards, right? And then I was doing some research, and you know, a lot of people's like, ego's bad and da da da, and I'm like, well, if it's bad, I didn't like the concept of like ego was like bad. So I continued dabbling in my research and da da da. And yes, I took my wig off. Mind your business. So what is ego? So the definition that stuck out to me the most is from the holistic psychologist, and I love her to death. Please go subscribe to her, follow her, go watch her content. It is so enlightening, and it is just like so amazing. So the way that she describes ego, so whenever you speak, you have the I statement, correct? And then whatever comes after it is the ego. It's the concept of how we view ourselves and how we view the world, or how we are taught to view ourselves and how we are taught to view the world. Ego is only a part of ourselves. It's not the whole part of ourselves. Who we are is the consciousness, the observer of the I statement. In other words, we are the observers of our thoughts. The biggest thing I was so fascinated about ego was like through like discovering ego, I was able to like become more aware of behaviors that I was doing that I was unconscious of, and you know, giving myself the option to even change like these behaviors, and then like learn the reasons of like why I was behaving this way in like the first place. And I was just like so fascinated by it. You're gonna put like a link below of her video describing ego and how to become more aware and break out of living in ego. So yeah, disclaimer, I'm like not like a professional or like, you know, like a psychologist. So like, I definitely do encourage you to be curious and be skeptical, and definitely go out there and seek this information for yourselves. If you do actually know a little bit more, you want to add a little spice to my little soup, comment down below. It was just one of those things. I feel like it makes more sense in my head than me actually saying it out loud, but I'm just gonna try my best. So the process of me identifying my ego was a bit challenging. You know, one of the things that I was picking up on is whenever I was being very judgmental, whenever I would try to defend myself from being wrong or feeling shame, or which baby, you know, the fear of like being judged, or the list can really go on. The steps that I used was I'm gonna validate you, because validating is key. That was a whole practice in itself. I'm gonna validate you and how you feel right now, because you're valid for the way that you're feeling. However, I desire to respond to this differently than what you've had to. While in the middle of editing this, I'm like, I feel like I'm skipping a few steps, because those steps that I was mentioning it took a lot of practice for me to sit there and be like, okay, I'm just gonna validate my emotions. No, I had to research ways on how to validate my emotions, and then I had to research ways on how to redirect my thoughts. So I was making it sound like it was simple, but it's actually like more like techniques to go through with it. The holistic psychologist, she be speaking some. Through this process, I was able to be more aware of my thoughts and aware of my actions versus, just being like in this like automatic state of reacting. I told my ego she could sit down and let me do it. Like, ego, sit down, baby. I don't need your help right now. Now the ways that I've been trying to learn to use my ego more effectively is when I feel like a boss bitch. My ego will be like, oh, you really can't do it. Like, like, what do you think you're doing? Like, you're gonna be fucking stupid. Try to protect you from that shame. And it's also like, you's a badass bitch and you just that shit. Like, nobody can fucking touch you. I want to use ego more in that type of direction. Like, baby, I am creative. I am that shit. I have my own light and it's gonna shine bright. Okay? So hopefully through editor Jane, she can make that make more sense, sis. I did my best, Sue. I did my best. Thank you. So the next one is, what has ended recently in your life, or what's new, something that's going to begin? What has recently ended? Oh my gosh, self-hatred and self-doubt. Now, don't get me wrong, there's moments where like it sneaks up back on me, but I can identify it better before it actually affects me from doing something. You guys, when I tell you, okay, I'm throwing astrology in there. The best way to describe it is my Saturn is in Aries. So all my people out there that already knows what astrology is, you already know what my struggle is. For to people that doesn't know, and if you're curious, I'm gonna do it in the most simple and basic terms. Saturn is the planet of boundaries, restriction, and some other stuff is not coming to mind right now. And then Aries is in the first house of self. So in other words, in simplest term, what I'm trying to say is where I'm gonna struggle in my life is restriction of self. In other words, a lovely way of saying identity crisis. So I've had such difficulties over the years with developing my own strong sense of my identity. And that doesn't help the fact that my life path number is number 9 as well. I was like a chameleon. Whoever I was around, I was able to adapt my behavior and personality to make that person more comfortable. Which, in a sense, I was losing myself. Like, losing myself. I didn't know who the fuck I was. So I was shape-shifting in this form to like be around like people, not only people in my relationships. I didn't even realize until this month that I was doing it in my relationships, which is wild. So, and even like in the small stuff, I noticed like if I go like talking to people, like I would like be like really soft, like, hey, how you doing? I was wondering, da da da, instead of just being like, hey, I need your help, because I feel as though like when I do it before, it will startle people. I'm in the South. And it'd be like too strong and too demanding and too domineering. I thought I had to soften my presence in order to like protect myself from somebody's reaction. I'm just like, we give a fuck for why. Let me see. I think it started like, my crisis started in like September. My crisis was bad in September, and it didn't really lift up until like the last week of December, and it didn't hit me until I was like, okay, let me clean slate. Everything that I've learned in my childhood, you shouldn't be wearing this, ooh, you shouldn't be wearing that, ooh, you shouldn't think this, ooh, you shouldn't think that. Everything that I was taught to behave and taught to act, let's get rid of that. And now let's listen to the inner voice within myself on what I truly desire and what I truly like, because I do have a strong sense of what I believe is right and what I believe is wrong. And I do not no longer want to hold myself by these standards of what I was previously held to the standards to. So sending all of that, and just working in the midst of all of that. I was birthed. Hi, how you doing? My name's Jane. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really giddy right now. And I have been doing a lot of meditation. I've been doing a lot of chakra work. I've been doing a lot of numerology work, a lot of astrology work, a lot of shadow work. Okay, like shadow work has helped me a lot in finding my sense of myself, but that is a whole nother video for another day. So yeah. Hi, I have a new, stronger sense of myself and, grounded foundation of who I am and what I want and what I like and what I don't like. Yes. Do you have anyone in your life that has acted as a mentor to you? Have you ever helped someone else in this way? So, Lucky, I love you so fucking much, girl. And this has been my cousin in my family for so long. She has been on my channel. And when I tell you, this girl is so fucking amazing. Like, just to see her and her growth and how she does things, We have been friends for so long. And, there was ups and downs, but she was definitely the strongest influence in spirituality. I seen her do it. And I was like, okay, what you doing? I want to try that too. That's whatever. Like, let me get into that. She was the first one to do it. Like, and I feel as though she will forever and always be like in like my soul tribe. Like, that is my mother, that is my mentor, that is my big sister. All of this praise makes her super duper uncomfortable, and I'm so sorry, but like, sis, like, you're just that fucking amazing, and I'm so grateful for you for being there for me for all these years, and being an open ear, and just being there for me and believing in me in my upbringing and in my struggles. I have to give credit to my mama, dad, or whatever. My dad is you gotta decode some of his messages, because sometimes, like, if you're in ego, you're not gonna understand what my dad is saying. Just point blank period. But if you could step out of ego and listen to some of the shit that he has to say, then bro, that man is a genius. He's a genius. He's a genius. He's a genius. He just gotta stop being so hard on himself. Like, my dad was like my structure. He was like the practicality type of mentor. And my mom's like, how fucking fun. Like, you can't have like all work and like no play. Like, loosen up a bit. She's a Leo. Leo sun. So she was definitely that one of just like the encouragement of like, be your fucking self and don't let nobody like tell you different. Now, I have, after all my mentors throughout my years, some of them that they weren't mentioned, I'll probably do in another video. I have 2 babies that I'm mentoring right now, and they're like my babies. Like, I love them so fucking much. I'm starting off with Q. Hi, baby. You're my baby. Q is my baby. The one thing I loved so much about Q, and she was such an essential part in my own growth, because I was able to look at myself in the mirror. Y'all, when I tell you, it is freaky that this little girl, like my little sister, she acted so much like me. And to see my behavior in another being, I was like, ew. I was like, ew, that's gross. And, I was there for her. There was a point in time where she actually taught me how to be a mentor, because there was a point where it's like I was like overbearing like my dad. I'm like, bitch, you can't be doing this. Like, no, I don't want you to feel that pain. But then I learned how to fall back. I learned how to just like fall back, and I'm like, okay, she doesn't need judgment. She doesn't need none of that. She needs love. Let me show my baby love, because at the end of the day, she has her own path. And I want to be a good influence, but I don't want to interrupt her path because the universe has something else for her. So I'm gonna be there for her love, like if she needs me, if she needs advice, because at the end of the day, baby, I cannot heal you. Only you can heal yourself. I can inspire you, but you yourself are gonna have to do the nitty gritty work. She taught me how to be a mentor. She did, and I absolutely love her. That is my little sister, and I will fight a bitch for her. I don't fight. Leave her son. I'm too cute to be fucking fighting. But that Taurus rising would come out real motherfucking quick, bitch. These shoulders not broad for no motherfucking reason. Anywho, me just talking shit. My other baby, she's like new to like my mentorship, and it is, hi Naya, I love you so much. Naya, my little cousin. She's, I don't care what nobody fucking say. This girl, she's so vibrant, she's so strong. And I know that, you know, you're going through a rough patch in your life, but baby, sometime that pressure will make you into a diamond. Like, Naya came in the right time in my life because like I was in that moment of just like abundance and overflow, like overflowing of love. I was in that stage of, okay, I am validating my emotions, so anybody that comes to me in my emotions, I will validate them. And the one thing my mentor Lucky was telling me about is, you know, whether somebody's in the right or wrong, if you're going to be there for them, be there for them. So I'm paying attention. I'm like, okay, I'm only hearing one side of the story, you know. But also in my conversation, I can encourage you to be real with yourself. You're going to have to be real with yourself. So if you're going to come to me and tell me your side of the story, I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to validate how your emotions, whether you're in the wrong or not, because how you feel is valid. But you still have to give yourself another way to respond and react in a situation, especially if your response is hurting the significant other that you love. Me going back on tangent, let me come back in. That I have so much faith in you, Naya. You're going to be such a shining bright motherfucking star, bitch. I promise you. And I am only hoping that through my social media I can find more stars, like find more babies to cultivate and just love on. Like, come here, come on. I don't give, who cares the age? Come get some of this energy. It's a lot. Take some. Take some. You get some, and you get some, and you get some crackhead energy. I had so much fun just being on this video and just rambling. Hopefully when editing this can make a little sense. I want to have it up by tomorrow. So I guess I can no longer be like, what do YouTubers say? Because bitch, I'm a fucking YouTuber. So as a YouTuber, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Share me. You know, comment. I will talk to you. Tell me some like your stories. Like some of these questions I asked in the video, answer them. Answer them. Like, I need friends. Like, come on, let's build this community. Like, be my babies. And I see you in the next video. Bye.